Hi, everyone, and welcome to The Router, the official podcast of the UQ Computing Society, where we explore the human side of tech. I'm your host, Matt, filling in for Liv this week, and today I'll be having a chat with Utkarsh Sharma and Paul Clarke, both first-year students at UQ studying computer science. Today, I'll be talking to them about their experiences at uni and especially how it has been affected by the COVID-19 pandemic. Hi there. Firstly, could you please introduce yourselves and what you're studying?
My name is Utkarsh Sharma, and I'm a first-year student doing computer science from UQ.
Hey there, my name is Paul Clarke, and I'm a first-year student studying currently engineering and computer science.
Oh, sweet. Thanks. First question I have to ask, considering it's exam week, how has SWOT-VAC or exam week been so far?
Well, considering we only had 4 days of SWOT-VAC, it was quite interesting, I guess. It wasn't much SWOT-VAC. It was mostly just stress and a lot of stress.
That's fair. Mine's been a little better since my first exam is on Friday, so I've got the equivalent of around 2 weeks of SWOT-VAC, so I've been having a great time.
Oh, that's good. I've been in the 1 week category where I just have 1 week of normal SWOT-VAC and then I'm straight into my one exam. But yeah, I mean, like, I find it a bit annoying how they just removed, I guess.
Yeah,
they just put exams in the first week.
Yeah. I don't appreciate that at all. Considering I had my one exam like Wednesday. That's like 2 days.
And I mean, in comparison to first semester when there was 3 weeks of SWOT-VAC.
Yeah, I know,
it's definitely a big change to this semester.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, it's, a big change. And since it's your first year, I guess you don't have much experience with this.
That's fair.
SWOT-VAC tradition.
Yeah, exactly. Well, there was SWOT-VAC in high school and stuff, I guess. Well, at least my one did. So
yeah. Speaking of high school, how's that been, like, the transition from high school to university?
Well, I think it's been interesting, and I think COVID's affected a lot of the transitioning, but it's actually been quite, like, I actually almost prefer uni because, uni is like subjects you can pretty much do and that you like, which, high school, there were some subjects which I didn't really like particularly, but uni is completely different from that. So, and there's only 4 subjects, which is also like a big plus as well. So you just feel like there's less workload. So, I feel like the transition actually been, I think I've had it better than most people in terms of that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there, Utkarsh. The transition from high school to uni has been pretty good, honestly. COVID hasn't really affected, dare I say, too much of that. But yeah, it's definitely been a lot more fun since we're doing courses that we actually really like now.
Okay, not having to do English or anything.
Exactly. That's always the one.
Yeah, and like your study habits from high school, do they apply well to uni? Because personally, I found a lot of the time I was like my first semester of uni, it started a train wreck because I had no idea how to study properly. I wasn't used to the idea of like independent
honestly,
studying.
I think I had that little same experience there. I had a lot of good habits in high school, and first semester of uni when things became pretty lax, all those good habits kind of went out the window.
I feel like I had actually a different experience to you guys because I think I found that I was able to translate most of my study habits from high school like decently, like all right, into uni. So I didn't have much problem. I do agree with Paul, like when stuff got lax, I was kind of like, all right, what do I do now with my time? I don't really know what to do. So, but it's sort of in that time, I sort of like used that extra time to like develop my own skills. So like doing a bit of extra stuff on the side as well. So that's like, despite the fact that everyone says first year is meant to be easier than like the rest, and it's meant to be like typically quite easy. And that's what I found as well, just because of the fact that I think I had good study habits from high school, which kind of made it a lot easier as well to manage my time.
I still feel like I'm developing those study habits, and especially I relate to the thing where like when you don't have much much assessment due, I just sit there doing nothing, which is probably not very effective long term. But anyway, I was just, I guess, curious about like so far at uni. What have you found like the most valuable for like your experience and things like that? Like, is it the lectures, the tutors, or is it like extracurricular things? Like, what's been the nicest part of uni so far?
Honestly, I think the most valuable thing I've found so far has to be UQCS. I mean, like, I think the courses like have been really useful as well, that I've got into, but just the sheer amount of experience, tech talks, and of course pizza that comes through this society has been one of the most awesome things that I've found. Definitely something you wouldn't find easily in high school. Yeah.
I feel like, obviously, I agree with Paul, but the other aspect I feel like is one of the things I found really enjoyable about uni is like it's a lot easier to make friends with people because everyone has the same interests as you. And like one of the best ways to do that is obviously through all these societies. And, you know, I obviously agree with Paul with all the free food, obviously, you know, because I'm a big sucker for all that stuff.
Yep.
So that was a big plus as well. But, you know, especially well, I guess COVID has affected a lot of the tutes and the pracs. So it was, I guess, kind of hard to socialize with people as much as I would have wanted. But like in second semester, when we started having in-person, like some of them were in-person pracs, it was really fun to get to actually know people and like put a name to the face, because I'd be talking to people like in lectures that I didn't really know who they were or like how they look like or something like that, right? But then when I got to these pracs and tutorials and I actually met them, you know, it's sort of like putting a name to a face, and then, you know, helped kind of just like help me like kind of develop friends. And I'm sure you can kind of agree with this, Matt, like the people you met in your first year degree are like still friends with you now.
Yeah, I mean, like, I guess to an extent, there are a few people who have stuck around with the whole time, but I have noticed that my like friend group, like personally, goes along with a lot of like what classes I do. Like if I don't have a class with someone, maybe that's just because I'm a bad friend. I don't know. But like, I guess, yeah, it really helps if you're like stuck with the people who are like in your degree and things like that, and you all go in the same path and like the same speed and everything, doing the same courses and things like that. What sort of courses were like in person? Was it like programming or other practical courses or?
It was CSC 2010. So for the people who are listening and that are at YouTube, it's the Introduction to Computer Systems course, and it all involves quite a lot of like circuit building and stuff like that. So there was an option to make it online, but I felt like that would be too difficult.
Yeah,
agreed. The nature of the course,
definitely.
As someone who did 2010, what was it, a year and a half ago, I think. I don't think I would have been possible to get through that course without some sort of practical component, like, or at least like a simulation of it, because a lot of the time you spend like on breadboards and things like that, right? Like wiring up stuff. And I believe your like main project is a hardware kind of, you know, you got your little
a washing machine simulator this time, right?
Not like asteroids or anything, but washing machine. But I guess it's a good segue into in general, like COVID. You probably spent, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks, at least I remember, in semester 1 at university, like in person, and then it seems like foreign to me having lectures in a room with other people, like just sitting there.
Yeah, I remember that. That was I think, that was so well, because look, personally, I really enjoy going to I really enjoyed going to lectures and meeting new people and all that. And I think in those 3 weeks we had in semester 1, I actually met a couple of good people, right? But then suddenly everything just disappeared with COVID and all that, and I haven't been in touch with them at all, really. And it's kind of a little bit sad, really. But I kind of wish that in semester 1 we had the whole semester to do more uni side of stuff. That would have been a lot more funner. But I guess doing everything from home also had a little bit of some benefits here and there, because you get to sleep into whatever time and then wake up and do your stuff from there. So
it's just like
a silver lining, I guess.
Sitting in bed and you wake up and you have a lecture in 5 minutes. Like, okay, I'll open the Zoom app on my phone.
Yeah, exactly. Perfect timing. You're brushing your teeth while watching the lecture talk.
Yeah,
exactly. That's the kind of. Well, I feel like I quite agree with Paul here. You know, I feel like I'm gonna say maybe a bit of a controversial opinion. I didn't mind the fact that everything was online, except for the social aspect, like the socializing aspect. I didn't actually mind everything being online, because, you know, traveling time to uni, especially for me, was probably one of the biggest things. It's almost like 1 hour, 1.5 hours. sometimes, and like it like saved almost 3 hours of journey like every day to go into uni and going out of uni. So I actually think because of all this COVID stuff, I may take more stuff online that that is possible. So like I wouldn't take like electrical engineering course online, but maybe something like that's a coding course. I may be more inclined to take it online now. Just because I can see that, it's actually worked for me. Like it hasn't been too bad for me. So like it's kind of good in that aspect as well, I guess, for me personally.
Yeah, online. I guess one other thing that I don't think many people are thinking about is a consequence of COVID means that online teaching is going to be, even after COVID, as long as there are UQ students outside of Australia who can't get back in, there's going to be online teaching as an option for quite a while. I imagine like about a year or so.
Yeah.
So it's going to affect a lot the uni experience, even not just this year, but next year too, which I guess is a bit of, and it might even affect like forever how uni is taught, because I'm sure they're saving a lot of money, not having to run lectures in person or room bookings or anything like that. You can just run it from your house or whatever, and people seem to have a lot more technology now to like using their iPads and all that to do their lectures. So I feel like it's going to change things long term.
Exactly, yeah. So we'll see how this goes. We'll see how this kind of affects our uni experience, I guess, in the long term as well.
Yeah,
because like you're in your third year, so I guess it's almost over for you.
I still have like 2 more years to go, but like
2 years, okay.
Yeah, but I just hope there's a return to normality sometime soon.
Yeah,
agreed. You can't hope for anything.
Yeah.
I mean, so Paul, you mentioned you're doing engineering.
Yep.
So at least in my 1 semester experience of engineering, there was this big team project called Eng 1100 and follow-on 1200 that I never did. But that was, I guess, the bulk of that experience was just meeting up with my team friends and working on this hardware like robot, something like that. So I guess COVID affected that. How was that experience?
Yeah, well, so we also did the autonomous landmine sewer project for Eng 1100. And initially it started out as was intended for the course, right? So for the first 3 weeks. But then after that, there was a whole change in like the course completely. So in the end, we weren't actually engineering the robot anymore. We were really only kind of making the design for it online. And with our teams, those are also just literally meeting up online on Zoom for our team meetings and all that. And I remember for our our sort of kind of interim demo day, if you will, halfway through the semester, that was the first time I think I met everyone in my team face to face, apart from one. And then at the end of the semester, like at the very last point at that demo day, was the first time in the entire semester that I actually saw my entire team. So it was pretty bizarre, but it was definitely a big shame that we couldn't engineer our robot in the end, because we had a lot of fun making it, and would have been a lot of definitely more fun to actually engineer it ourselves.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the bulk of my fun was just testing it on the final day, and then everything was like breaking, but it was so funny how it was all breaking.
Luckily, the thing for us was that with the coding side of it, I was on the coding, right? And pretty much I coded it, right? But I never actually had to test if the code would work or not, right? I just only had to comment it, right? And pretty much I was told at that point that the tutors would know if your code would work or not. And so I kind of trusted in that, and we ended up with a really good mark in the end. So I'll trust that my
so
code
they didn't
work.
actually run the code.
Nope, never did.
It's because it's all like a design project now, right?
Yeah.
So they just have a look at your design and they, well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I found the most difficulty was debugging, and you can't debug when you're just writing code like from what's it called, just without testing.
Yeah.
That's interesting. But like, I guess there's not really any other option, right? Like they can't make you do.
Yeah, I mean, like if we're not engineering a robot, we can't really test the code out.
Yeah. I mean, I've had in other courses where there was like solo or maybe small team projects where they actually sent out parts, like in the mail or something like that. But with a sixth person, that's probably not realistic. And then it's also like everyone's gone off to different places, so
yeah,
pretty much. I have to keep remembering that people aren't all in Brisbane just waiting at home.
Yeah.
There are people who have gone to like all different parts of the world just to be back with their families.
I think with Eng 1200, so like the course after Eng 1100 that I did this semester, we actually had a mix of people in our team, right? So we had a mix of external and flexible delivery students. So I think we had most of us were flexible delivery who came to uni, but then we had someone who was like literally doing the course from China. And then there was someone else who was doing the course from Rockhampton, right? So that was pretty much our team. And I know one of my other friends' teams, right? He had a course, so he had a team that was like I think 2 or 3 flexible delivery students, including himself, and the rest were external delivery from just all around Australia and a bit of China, I think, as well. So I think definitely the whole COVID situation has made the teams a lot more flexible, if you will.
Mm-hmm. And I guess, for a hardware project, that would be weird.
Yeah.
Glad there's only like 1 or 2 software team projects, and even those are, Like I just finished my 3rd year Deco team project, and we had the privilege of being able to just meet up in person every week because we're all, in Brisbane, all come into uni. So that was a nice, refreshing change. It just sort of felt like normal. Of course, we had to wear masks in the studio, but things like that's been nice. I guess my next question is: now that you've done your first year, overall, how have you? I guess, was it better or worse than you expected?
That's a bit of a interesting question.
I guess the sort of point has been like brushed over in a few previous ones as well. I guess like on a grand overall like rating, is it good or bad or?
I feel like it's good. It could have been better, obviously, but I feel like there are definitely some good aspects, I guess, to come out of all this COVID situation. Definitely. As unfortunate as it was, I guess there are some good aspects that came out of it and some bad ones. So, I didn't mind it as much as some other people may have in other disciplines because, computer science, a lot of it was quite, like doing it online wasn't really much of a problem, much of an issue, except like, obviously with the exception of some courses. So, I didn't feel like I was missing out on too much in terms of the learning aspect in terms of like the learning side of things. And
And I think in comparison to high school, I mean, uni kind of blows things out of the water. I mean, first semester, obviously it had its kind of downfalls with the like completely online side of things. But I think in that sense, semester 2 kind of redeemed it because we kind of got the uni experience in semester 2, which is still better than nothing, right? And I think even if semester 1 was online, I think since UQCS was still doing a lot of their things, like from the online events and all that, we still felt kind of included with the whole uni life, right? So I don't think it was all bad. Yeah,
I think having those communities set up and like moved to online helped things quite a bit, just keeping everyone involved. I don't know if the social events and things like that were as good of a substitute as the real thing, but I guess at least seeing a few faces and things like that. I think the whole cliche of Zoom social events. It's like,
yes.
Oh goodness! I mean, hopefully we can have real in person.
I look forward to those.
It should be fun again.
I guess for the remainder of your degree, do you have any like plans and did you have any like ideas for what you wanted to do? And like, if so, have they been affected by COVID at all? Like, I guess personally, I've had a lot of plans that have just been thrown completely out because of COVID that I was planning to do before I graduated.
Yeah, definitely. I know you guys already know, but I definitely wanted to go on exchange to Korea in semester 2 next year. Had it all planned out, that sort of thing, and then I was kind of hit with the next year all exchanges are cancelled due to COVID.
Yeah.
So that sucked a lot, since now I have to replan a lot of my courses and all that. But I mean, what can you do? So that's obviously kind of a bummer and all that. But I think before I graduate, I'm still looking for like a lot of experience in that sort of sense. So my current goal is to get as many internships as I possibly can for the moment, because I reckon that like getting those internships will give me that experience and insight I need to kind of give me an understanding of what I want to do in the future. So kind of like my big goal before I graduate is internships.
Experience, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's quite a big thing as well. And I feel like, like joining these societies, especially UQCS, helps quite a lot with that. And I guess I'm kind of looking forward to just continuing my degree as it is, because I didn't really have grand plans like Paul did of going on exchange or something. I was just content with just doing my degree at UQ. So I wasn't. I don't think COVID has affected much of my plans anyway. Not that because I didn't have many plans like on like what to do specifically. But
Oh yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I guess it affects people all differently in different ways.
Yeah.
I guess my final question, in terms of like your career path, I know you're very early in your degree, but this is a question a lot of people love asking first years.
Oh no.
Do you have an idea of what sort of career you want to go into when you graduate, like a software engineer or any other sort of
Well,
idea?
My plan was that I guess like everyone in the but I guess I'm wanting to go into data science.
Yeah.
It's quite a, I guess it's just the thing where it's at, I guess nowadays. I guess everyone's saying that. So I guess I'm just joining the bandwagon, and that's kind of where
Bandwagon, perfect.
Exactly. So that's kind of where I want to be in 3-4 years, depending on, what I do with my degree.
Yeah, look, I think I've had my eye on a bit of like front-end web development a little bit. But apart from that, I still kind of lack the experience that I want before I make a solid decision. That's why I'm still looking for those internships.
Yeah, I think the experience is the most valuable thing. Like that's what I've been trying to do, get experience in as many different things as possible, like trying out math stuff and trying out like back-end work, things like that. And I think that's like you've got plenty of time, I think, to try all these things out. Like you're doing 3-year degrees, I think, 3 or 4 year degrees.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So, you got another 1 or 2 summers to experiment and try things out. And you can even do stuff like, I guess, during the year, just like casual jobs, and there's plenty of opportunity. And I guess you're really well set for all those different things. So it's
exactly. The future's uncertain, especially nowadays. So who knows where our degrees will take us.
Yeah.
I guess any other final comments or words or any advice to
I don't know what advice you can give as a first.
But yeah.
I think we've said everything that needs to be said in the interview. Also, to any employees looking who are listening to this, if you are looking for prospective interns, you can always feel free to message us and hit us up on Slack. Our Slack handles are at Utkarsh Sharma, so just my name.
Yep, and mine is at Files.
Files Z, yeah?
Yep, Files Z.
Yeah. So you heard it here first. If you're looking for a first year software developer or anything like that, then you know who to call. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for the podcast. So thanks so much again for coming along. I think sharing your experiences and things like that were fantastic and really insightful.
No worries. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
That's all we have for you today, and we hope you'll join us in 2 weeks for the next episode of The Router. Until then, come join our community at slack.uqcs.org.